did Kevin O'Connell just leak the Vikings' plan at the quarterback position on a podcast he recently joined? Well, we're going to break it down on today's show. My name is Patrick Siepman, and welcome in to Vikings Now by Chat Sports. Everybody, put your detective hats on. We are going to break down and deep dive into what is going to happen for the Vikings at the quarterback position because reports are all over the board. But first, this is what Kevin O'Connell had to say on Sam Darnold, which was very interesting. This was on the Ryan Fitzpatrick podcast, saying he's earned the right to be a free agent. What I mean by that is I never earned the right to be a free agent, to be somebody that multiple teams are vying for. That's a good thing. Less than a year ago, I remember Sam was a free agent, and we were able to bring him to Minnesota on a one-year deal with a vision for him. And the outcome of that vision is exactly where we are now. People think Sam Darnold can play quarterback in the NFL, and they should, because over the course of a long season, he showed he's capable of reaching his truest potential. Now, I swear, I have heard this before, especially the part of he's earned the right to be a free agent. Because if you guys remember, Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi pretty much said the same thing last season. And this is what Kwesi had to say on Kirk Cousins. Yeah, I think I've been pretty consistent with that. Kirk is somebody that, as we saw what he does to this team, I thought we were playing really good football before he got injured. And it's the most important position in sports. Now, ultimately, it always comes down to, can you find an agreement that works for both sides? This is the exact same thing with Darnold and all those things. But as a player, it's certainly my intention to have him back here. He has earned the right to be a free agent. Now, if we remember, Kevin O'Connell, last year, March 2nd, 2024, Kevin O'Connell, Kirk Cousins has earned the right to be a free agent. What does that say? February 7th, 2025, Kevin O'Connell, Sam Darnold has earned the right to be a free agent. We will keep talking. I swear I am having deja vu from where we were this time last season. But you maybe ask yourself, why are the Vikings, throwing it out there that they have some interest in bringing back Sam Darnold? Well, I think the Vikings are just doing right by Darnold with leaking these reports. I think this is coming directly from the Vikings organization where they are telling these big-time NFL insiders, like, yeah, we got all types of interest in re-signing Sam Darnold. Why wouldn't we? He won 14 games. He had 35 touchdowns last season. I just think the Vikings are doing him a kind of good service here because let's just say hypothetically, Darnold, he was hitting free agency, and then the Vikings pretty much came out and said, hey, man, we got no interest in re-signing you. We're going to go in a different direction at the quarterback position. I could see other teams looking at that and being like, well, the Vikings are a really well-run organization. Why do they not want to bring back Sam Darnold? I think the Vikings are just kind of trying to do right here by Darnold, but I just think it's, I just think it's the Vikings front office leaking these reports. I don't think it's Sam Darnold's camp. I think it is truly the Minnesota Vikings leaking these, but also I thought this was hilarious. This was coming in from, this is from last year when Ian Rappaport was on NFL Network, and you guys see the lower third right there saying Vikings hope to re-sign Kirk Cousins, but will face competition. Now, this is the exact same thing we're hearing about Sam Darnold, but listen, this is a big offseason for the Minnesota Vikings. You guys just quickly let me know if you trust the Vikings front office, hit that thumbs up icon to make the right decision, or if you guys don't trust them, comment why you don't trust them down below in the comment section. But I do want to play with you guys a clip real quick of Kwesi talking about Sam Darnold.
Yeah, it's tough. I was telling my staff if I could have thought of a brain teaser of an experiment to think through, that would have been a pretty tough one where, Pro Bowl quarterback, win all those games, and then you lose to two teams twice. And so that was really kind of the core of our offseason, really thinking through that holistically, being really not trying to be overweighted by those 8 quarters, but not underweighting those last 2 games. And really, he played a lot of good football for us. Year 1 in the system, so you can expect more later. And so we're excited at the potential for Sam, whatever that ends up being. But it's a tough exercise. But I want to make sure that we're continuing saying we're so proud of what he did for us. We're so proud of this team. It didn't end the way we wanted it to, but a lot of good things happened. We've continued to lay the foundation for the team we want to be, and we'll continue to go forward.
I think I 100% agree with Kwesi on that. Like, This is truly one of the most unique situations in NFL history, like where you bring in a bridge quarterback for a rookie quarterback, and the rookie quarterback tears his meniscus. He's out for the whole season. And then the guy you brought in on a one-year deal leads you to 14 wins. You're playing for the number 1 seed in the entire conference in Week 18, but then it completely fizzled out during the last 2 weeks. Like, it's truly one of the most unique situations we have ever seen in NFL history, talking about the quarterback position. But I will stand by this. Sam Darnold won't return to the Vikes. I'm pretty confident in that. I just think the Vikings are in a different position right now than they were this time last year when talking about Kirk Cousins, because this time last year we didn't have J.J. McCarthy waiting in the reins. I just think this is gamesmanship by the Vikings. I don't think if you really asked Kevin O'Connor, you really asked Kwesi, and they gave you a 100% God honest truth answer, and you said, are you bringing back Sam Darnold? I guarantee you they would probably say 99% no to that answer. But why Darnold won't return? I got 5 reasons for you guys. Number 1, it limits free agent spending. And the Vikings know this because the Vikings are where their kind of cap situation is set up right now. And with the NFL cap booming this year, getting up to, I think the final number was $280 million or just around that figure. And then also with the cap going to go up like a ton in like the years 28, 29, and 2030. This is a big year for free agency spending for the Vikes. But, I've seen a lot of people, and listen, I've thrown this figure out there. We're like, let's just say Darnold agrees for a 2-year, $40 million deal, fully guaranteed. Well, then the Vikings could potentially spend a lot in free agency. I disagree, because if you sign them to that $40 million deal, and let's just say even if you lower the cap hit in 25 and 26 to $15 million a pop, and then you even create 2 void years with dead cap in 27 and 28, you would then have $47.8 million to spend, especially if Byron Murphy Jr. gets that extension for around $17 million. That number is all the way down already at around $30 million. And plus Aaron Jones, also these other guys like Jahad Ward who are going to get around $2-3 million. The Vikings wouldn't be able to spend big at all in free agency. And number 2 for me, it would create drama. I think, honestly, that should probably be the number 1 reason why the Vikings don't bring back Darnold. It's just because of the drama it would bring. I can't underestimate, how much of a noisy training camp the Vikings would have if Darnold returns. Because you know how much of a close eye I'm going to have on training camp, where I'm looking at every throw from J.J. McCarthy, every throw from Sam Darnold, and we're going to be saying if J.J. McCarthy, if he balls out in preseason, for example, or he balls out in training camp and he looks like the guy, we'll all be sitting there saying, man, why did we pay Sam Darnold that contract? So that's why I don't think it's going to happen. And also, what if Darnold struggles early? The Vikings got a brutal schedule next season. You got the AFC North. Let's just say you start off with, the Ravens, Bengals, and you go Lions, Packers or something, and you're 1-3 or whatever your record would be, and Darnold's struggling, and then J.J. McCarthy takes the reins. That's just a drama there that is unnecessary. And then you would be paying $15 million for a backup, and, you would just be really limiting your ceiling, which we'll talk about that more here in a second. But also, why Darnold won't return. What about Darnold's interest? Think about this from his perspective, because obviously I think Darnold views the Vikings as the best place he can succeed. And maybe Darnold just believes in his game that much, where it's like, hey, they just got to give me a chance one more year, and I'm going to prove to them yet again I can be the guy. But let's just call a spade here. I think the fan base would be rooting for J.J. McCarthy to start. I know I would a little bit. I would be pounding the table to start number 9 at some point next season. Why would Darnold want that? Why would he want a fan base who is not fully bought in to him being the quarterback? Why would he want to go to a situation like that? Now, maybe he just says, hey, I'm going to go ball out, and I'm going to prove these fans wrong who all want J.J. McCarthy to start. That could definitely be in play here, because he's probably thinking, yeah, if I go throw the Jefferson, Addison, I get Darisaw back, they go have a pickup at the interior of their offensive line. Man, I could go, win 14 games again and potentially get, to an NFC championship game. But I just don't know if Darnold would want that, considering this fan base will be all over J.J. McCarthy next season. But you guys pick a quarterback for me. Who are you rolling with? If you have the decision, Kwesi calls you and he says, hey, so-and-so, I need you to pick a quarterback for me. Give me a number 9 for J.J. McCarthy. Give me a 14 for Sam Darnold. I'm all in on number 9. I want to see a lot of 9s in the comments section. I will be going down there on my personal account and probably spamming number 9. So you guys pick a quarterback for me. Give me a 9 or give me a 14. Now, dive in more around J.J. McCarthy and Sam Darnold here in a second. But first, got to tell you guys about today's sponsor, and that is PrizePicks. Now, if you guys download the PrizePicks app today and plug in promo code CLNS, you guys will get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Now, what is PrizePicks? PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot 200 to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. Now, if you guys want to make a Timberwolves or Wild game more interesting, PrizePicks is the #1 way to do so. Set a lineup, watch it, follow it throughout the entire event. Even if the game's a blowout, it is still a ton of fun to follow your PrizePicks lineup. So download the app today. One last time, use that promo code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the PrizePicks app today. Plug in that promo code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. A massive shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's edition of Vikings Now by Chat Sports. PrizePicks, run your game. All right, reason number 4 why Darnold won't return, in my opinion, is because it's the most obvious one. J.J. McCarthy's rookie contract. The Vikings got to take advantage of this because I stand by it. There's no bigger advantage in terms of roster building in the NFL than having a guy on a contract like this. Here are J.J. McCarthy's cap hits for the next 3 seasons. Next year, $4.9 million. In 26, $5.9. In 27, it's $6.9. Could you imagine this guy, if he starts in 25, has a good year, and then he's rolling into 26, he wants to take that next jump. He's on the books for $5.9 million. In 2027, imagine J.J. entering that year of his rookie deal on a $6.9 million cap hit. Do you want to waste? Because let's just say you, hypothetically, you pay Sam Darnold that 2-year deal. Waste 25, you waste 26, even if J.J. goes in there and plays because you're not fully taking advantage of it. And then 2027, J.J.'s first time starting, do you want that to be the case? Because if you guys remember, Jordan Love, he started the last year on his rookie contract. And the Packers were only going to take advantage of that for 1 year. And now Jordan Love's got a ridiculous cap number over the next 4 seasons. Like this year is not bad, $30 million. But then goes up to 36, 42. And then in 2028, he has a $74.2 million cap hit. He'll probably get restructured to switch that up. But the Packers already have a ton of dead money in years 2029 and 2030 because of this contract. And lastly here, it limits the ceiling you put on this football team. Because, listen, by no means am I saying if the Vikings bring Sam Darnold back, like they would be a bad football team. I'm not saying that whatsoever. The Vikings would still be a very good football team with Sam Darnold under center, but they would not be a great football team. And that's the point I'm trying to make here. To win a Super Bowl, you have to take a risk. And like I've been saying, J.J. McCarthy is that risk. Now, if J.J. McCarthy is the biggest bust of all time and he is terrible for the Minnesota Vikings, then we pivot. But I could at least live with myself and live with myself as a fan knowing this front office went all in on him because considering you took him top 10 in the first round. Like, clearly you got some love for him being the franchise quarterback. But where else could Darnold go? If I had to call it right now, I'm still going the Las Vegas Raiders. I think the Giants are either going to get Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. I think the Titans probably number 2 for me. I don't think the Steelers will. I don't think the Colts will. So I really think it's going to be a 2-team race between the Raiders and the Tennessee Titans. But kind of my final thoughts on this. At the end of the day, like I feel bad for Sam Darnold, just like the player and the person he is, because this is a guy who throughout the first 6 years of his NFL career, people thought he was a joke. Like the seeing ghost meme, like him just getting ridiculed on every single show year after year after year. And then finally he has an unreal season with the Vikings and his own fan base doesn't even want him back. 14 wins, 35 touchdowns. And I'd probably say 90% of Vikings fans don't want this guy back in the building. End of the day, I feel bad for him, but you got to do what's right for the organization. I think that's letting Sam Darnold walk. But I do want to end today's show by just showing him some love because a lot of this was, kind of dunking on him a little bit, saying why the Vikings shouldn't bring him back. But it was an awesome year last year. And if you guys could, show him our support. Type those 14s down below in the comment section. And as always, hit me up on Twitter, @PatSiepes is the Twitter handle. See you guys next time. As always, Skol Vikes.